check. Okay. Whew, that's close. We should be live. Okay. Let's see how this works. I'm just checking the YouTube stream to see if it is working. Yes. Okay. We're live.
Did I mute myself? Okay.
I can hear you now. We're live, just FYI. Hi.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to put on lip balm.
No, let's put on lip balm. That's totally a great idea.
Okay. What lip balm are you using?
Oh, I got my Burt's Bees classic.
I have the 8-hour cream. Should we just turn this into a beauty tutorial?
That's my favorite part of beauty tutorials. Is like the
like Will not. Okay, wait. Let me just tell you. Will won't stop making fun of me about how I watch like YouTube influencers clean their houses. Oh no, Zachary's in the Zoom.
I don't know. I didn't realize there was a Zoom. So is it possible for him to join here?
Yeah.
We're not broadcasting through Zoom at all.
Yeah. No, it was just like a 15 minutes like get to know each other. Mm-hmm. But let's just see.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. This is pre-show now. We're live and we'll just roll right in. Well, so
let's get it.
We could do one of two things. We could end this and then start a new one in 10 minutes. But I feel like the pre-show, I mean, this is the most authentic version of live streaming, right? We have a podcast now. This is our podcast.
I've always dreamed of being on a podcast. My favorite ones. What are your favorite ones?
Well, I have 2 podcasts, so I like to...
Wait, I'm going to subscribe to them. I'll subscribe to them after. Okay, wait, hold on. Zachary is having some issues. He's in here now. We're all here?
Hello.
We're live.
Zachary!
Nice to meet you, Zachary.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
That's how we'll differentiate. You can be Zachary, I'll be Zach, and...
Formal. I normally only get Zachary when I'm in trouble, but, you know, we can work with that.
Is that what your mom will call you if you're in trouble?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Okay, wait. Am I supposed to see Zachary?
Can you not see him?
No.
I can see me in the bottom left.
Yeah, I think I could only see one person in the bottom left, so...
Okay, interesting. I can see both of you.
Okay, well, as long as you see both of us, and then just tell... Maybe we should just, like, see what Zachary's doing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it is only showing.
That's fine.
Well, that's why we're doing this now. What I can do is... Yes. I should be able to edit this. I think this is great live content, by the way.
I mean, I'm super into it. My partner's mom is joining our YouTube as well. Shout out to Kathy Cox. No, she's down there. But yeah, no, we are leaving London today, so we're just doing a little bit of a packing session.
Okay,
stressful.
So you're dialing in from Heathrow. I like it.
Dialing in from Heathrow. Just kidding. Zachary, so you were saying that you'd be kind of jolly on this call. We know that it's late on your side. Tell me about your night. What did you do?
Well, it's another Friday night. It's a wild time down here. Not really.
Where are you based?
I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, nice.
And we have a young one who's 18 months old. So our
Congratulations.
Friday night's up. Thank you. This is the latest I've been up for a while, so I'll try not to
Wow.
fall asleep midstream.
Okay. I think. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty entertaining. So, and I think I'm really super happy that you stayed up this late. I would be in bed by 9:30 already. So I'm a grandma.
So I added all of our videos to the live stream. It took me a minute, but we should be there.
Cool. Okay, just let me know so I can push out
Yeah.
comms on our side. Will's helping out. Um, I still think it's very funny that I can't see Zachary. So I think like we should tell me what he's wearing.
He's wearing a black long sleeve.
Okay.
And I'm clearly sitting in the garage, so you can see an exercise bike and a Pilates ball behind me. So
Wait, so while Zach works, should you be exercising? So like, because I was thinking, I was just like, well, I'm not a designer. I'm just here like to watch you guys and learn because I'm also not a designer at all. So I felt like it would be like kind of lazy if I just sat here. So should we get Zachary to go on the exercise bike and ball
Yeah.
and Pilates?
I could just casually be there, just doing some yoga and drinking a wine and offering some comments. I've got wireless headphones in. I'm ready.
Yeah, I have my AirPods in, fully charged. I will do some burpees on YouTube. This is how dedicated I am.
Look, I'm a big body coach fan. I'm ready to step in.
Wait, are you a body coach? What's body coach?
No, no. There's a guy in the UK. He's called the Body Coach. He's like
Wait,
he's the king of
what's body coach?
YouTube home workouts.
Oh, I know. Okay, I remember. I saw it on Instagram. It was like lean in 15 or something.
That's it. Yeah. Dude's got fabulous hair.
I know. What's his tagline though?
He used to have a thing called Lean in 15. That was it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he had these like Instagram stories.
Go weeks.
Yeah.
That's how he started off. Now
what is he doing now?
He's launching that, and he literally. Funnily enough, I met his brother in Singapore. He has a team of about 1,000 people producing content for him.
What?
Yeah, he's literally he's a one-man business. It's nuts.
Oh, I thought he was just in his kitchen, like throwing together, and then like I think he would like always dangle his food out the window, and then like he would have a tagline. And I tried making some of his recipes, and they were actually so flavorless. I was just like, I don't want to be skinny anymore. Okay, wait. Do we have this YouTube link?
Yeah, I just tweeted it.
Okay.
So that should work. I don't know how. It's weird. I don't know how to pull the link from the interface here, but it's somehow.
Oh, I see Zachary's medicine ball.
Hey, there you go. You're in.
So
I'm still only seeing Zach. Yeah.
On the live stream or
No, just on
eCam.
the E.
Yeah.
This is my first time being a cam girl, so.
No, I'm watching on YouTube mute.
Great. That's perfect.
So then I can see all of us.
Yeah.
There is a delay though.
There's a delay for just you, but not for the viewers. Like they're only seeing the one, so it should be all right. There's since the beginning of the pandemic, the building next door has been under construction, and they start at like 7 a.m. even on the weekends, and have for like 15 months now, and they've been really quiet for like 3 weeks, and I'm like, oh, finally, it's like done, and like 20 minutes ago they started again. So I did run next door right before we went live and asked them if they could just like wait, but like it doesn't. There was a language barrier, and also like I'm doing my job please leave me alone sort of vibe. So we'll see. I mean, if there's a little background noise, it's one of those things.
That'll be my cue to pop out the back and start smashing out some burpees.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it kind of just sounds like a snoring dog.
Yeah. Yes. So we are live. It is showing no viewers, but that's fine. They'll join, but just in case we have any listeners, especially because this will just go up after we're done being live. People could watch this part as well. Maybe we should just talk about what we're gonna do, do an actual pre-show. We have about 8 minutes, so plenty of time to get some viewers, I think.
Yeah, let me just tweet everything out. Are you guys fine for me to tag you guys on LinkedIn? Will is our first viewer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get this out on LinkedIn, on Twitter.
Great.
Okay.
There's that construction.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Is it
is
loud?
the snoring dog. No, not really.
I have a little, another one of these I can try to maneuver. A little soundproofing tile by the microphone. Hopefully that helps. Yeah.
Okay, so...
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Cool, everything's out.
So we'll do an intro. I'll probably introduce myself, talk about my background, talk about how we are in the pitch community, put out the call, got Zachary's presentation, and are going to do the most that we can do in an hour.
Love it.
Tear it apart. I like it.
I mean, strong gift choices, Zachary. I think that you're the perfect person to do this experiment with.
So we're live streaming, live tweeting.
Live everything. Will has got my back on the live tweeting. I think he types really fast. So I'm very happy to have that set of extra hands. Okay.
Cool. I've got the Slack open so I can show people how awesome it is. I'm a little nervous. This is really exciting.
I know.
You haven't done this before?
Not like this.
I know. I think this is so funny. My throat gets really dry when I'm nervous. Oh, wait.
Usually when I make these tutorial videos for YouTube, they're 8 takes. I really spend a lot of time on them. So doing this live is fun.
Zach, where are you at, man?
Oh, I'm based in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's afternoon there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a drink. That's good.
I might have to get out of the Slack because the notifications.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. This is how I chat. Fun fact, Kate, who is our head of product marketing, and I have the highest sent Slack messages in the pitch workspace. Don't tell anybody. Oops, put on the internet.
I think really important point there is that you can find those metrics in Slack. You're going to have to show me that when we're done because I want to see how many messages I send.
No, it's I think it's because of my chatting style. I would always send one message, but I don't do a whole sentence, so I send a series of 5.
Yeah. I text like that.
Same. And then my friends, I think the people who I'm in a group chat with, they're like, Steph, you need to calm down. And I'm like, let me live. Okay, I invited the pitch team to join us. I think this would be so cool. I think this is the best way to end out my week. Hanging out with my 2 favorite Zachs.
Zach, I just saw your... Zachary. I just saw your Twitter handle as Super Zach. Can I just call you that?
Yes.
Sure, let's go for that. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. 4 minutes. thanks for everybody that is joining us already. It is very exciting to do this.
Kate, what are you saying about me? Honestly, this is her power. She, like, anywhere she is, she can just, like, hear, like, she just knows and she'll show up. Like, honestly, that woman, she's my soulmate. I would just put it out on the internet so everyone knows now, but
Someone just liked the video. I got a notification, but I also got the ability to ban Kate from the chat. It was like Kate's message, and it was like, "Do you want to ban this person?"
No, we are not banning Kate from the chat.
We're not banning
oh my god. Well, I was like, maybe she should just join in on our little design sesh, because I must say she has magical design skills. I don't know why she's doing product marketing, to be honest. Like, I think she should be our designer. Okay, there's some emojis going on from Kate. Fun. Okay.
Now we officially have too many channels. I've got Slack open. I'm on Twitter. I'm watching the OCam, and I have the live feed going on with chat in the YouTubes.
I
need more screens.
Yeah. I usually am all about having like Twitter open while I'm watching something live, but like I probably would be too distracted to do that right now.
Okay.
Let's just a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. For people in the live stream, if you comment in YouTube, there's a little delay, but we can see them. We can put them on the screen. So if there's questions that come up, we can try and answer them live. We are going to try and cram like what I would do over the course of several days into an hour. So we're definitely going to like speed run as much as possible while also trying to narrate the design process. Someone asked if we're moderating.
Yes.
Yes, we're moderating. Is that a threat?
Yeah,
be careful. No, don't worry.
I was just checking. I was just curious.
Don't worry. I think what I love about the pitch community is that everyone's really nice. So also really appreciate everybody sending in their pitch decks for this experiment, our first ever. And I know it takes a lot of vulnerability because I hide all my presentations in my private folder. Yeah, but everyone's really nice. And I think like with the pitch community, everyone is just like so warm and friendly, and it makes my job just so much easier. I feel like I'm talking to my friends. I'm just bopping around in the community all the time.
Now you're making me nervous.
So what if we just, instead of doing a design demo, we just go into each person's private folder in pitch and look at it?
You guys, like, I'm sweating. Hey, I can't. Like,
we're gonna do it. Let's do it. Don't be nervous, Stephanie. We're just hanging out.
God mode.
Totally
we're going into God mode.
Yeah. I don't know. I heard about this. Have you guys heard about this thing called like GDPR? As an American, I was like, what is this? Does this apply? But yeah, GDPR. She's a beast.
All right, let's do this and be GDPR compliant as much as possible.
Yes.
I'm Zach Grosser. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I love the like YouTuber intros. I should be like, "Hey guys," or whatever. So I am a presentation designer. I've been designing presentations for about 10 years. I started by teaching Keynote at the Apple Store in San Francisco. As part of my role as a creative, which I think now is just like an in-store guest trainer role that they do now. It's a little bit different, but my job was to teach people Apple software, and that included Keynote. And when I was certified to teach Keynote by Apple, I never imagined it would be part of my career path at all. Fast forward a little bit, I was at Square for 5 years. I started working in food service there, and then the presentation designer left, and I was like, wait, I can do that job. I like took one semester of design at university. I can teach Keynote. So yeah, they took a chance on me. I like was in a probationary period and then like started doing that job and did about 1,500 presentations in 4 years. By the time I left Square, I ran the communications design team. I left to move to Amsterdam, where I am now, as well as work at Figma. So I worked at Figma for 14 months as the design education manager. I was building out like education programs, and I was also, because I was based in Amsterdam, the European community advocate. I left Figma at the beginning of 2019. It's hard. Years are hard. 2019 to freelance, and I just went back to doing pitch decks. Pitch decks is in like fundraising pitch decks. We'll get to pitch in a second. I freelanced for a while, and I met my first employee in Dutch class, Donna, and started my agency, Zacht Studios. So Zacht Studios is about 1.5 years old now, 1.5 years old now, and we are focused on company storytelling and investor fundraising. So we work with startups and companies across every sort of vertical that you can think of at different sizes. Everyone from early stage pre-seed companies all the way up through giant companies like Nextdoor and Adobe. We help those companies tell their story, raise funding. We work with all sorts of products. And so when Pitch, the tool, was announced, I was like, oh my God, this is made for me. This is like ideal. So started using the beta, have been a huge fan ever since. We obviously love the Pitch team at Zacht Studios. I became an ambassador in the Pitch community, and that's what led to this live stream. We did a little shout out in Slack to see who wanted their presentation designed live. And that's where Zach, that's here, is joining us from. He very kindly is going to let us air out his sales deck in public. So I really appreciate that. And Stephanie
He's going to call me Other Zach?
Yeah, Other Zach.
Zachary.
Super Zach.
Zach too.
Super Zach.
We just met, so it's very nice to meet you, and I'm excited to have you here. You run Mobius. We'll definitely get into what Mobius is in a minute. And then Stephanie is also here. Stephanie runs community at Pitch. You run community?
Everything. No, just kidding. Yes. I also do social as well. I'm a jack of all trades. I just like, bop around, chat with people, make fun things like this happen. Yeah, you've done a great explanation already.
I tried. Usually, I was saying in the pre-show, if anyone watched that I usually like take multiple takes at these. So this is the first live stream for me in a presentation design sense. I've done a little bit of live streaming for like a podcast, but this is like totally different. With all that said, we are going to speed run redesigning Zachary's presentation in Pitch. We will do as much as we can in the time that we have. It's usually takes me longer than 45 minutes to redesign someone's deck. But we're gonna do what we can, and then there's also a chat going, and maybe we can try and answer some questions that come up as well. Okay.
Ananas said Stephanie is the best. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal the show from you, Zach.
I think we can add that to the screen.
Which Zach?
Yeah, just throw that up on the screen. Thanks.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so if no one's used Pitch before, this is what it looks like. It is the best presentation software. I love it. It is modern and fun and easy to use, and is great for me as someone that designs presentations all day. So you're probably gonna love it too. That's my plug. I forgot one thing. I'm sorry. We're going to do one more thing. Cool. So Zachary shared his deck. Here it is in Pitch. I duplicated it to my live workspace. We are going to take a look at it. One of the things that I think is really important when designing presentations is the story. So that's what we're gonna like focus on first, really quick. Usually it's definitely like a week process of like iterating on the story, but let's just like see what we can do. So we're gonna click through really fast. Luckily, Zachary shared this in advance. Oh, we don't see your screen yet.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Vivek. Vicky Pavlik, thank you so much. Would have just kept going without talking.
I mean, it wouldn't be a real like live stream unless you do that, because this always happens.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done it multiple times where I'm just like moving my mouse around, explaining something, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much like every even meeting that I'm in, I have to do that. So this is
We're
perfect.
keeping it real. Jenny from the block.
So this is Pitch. You heard me describe it. Now you can see it as well if you haven't used it before. We've got the Mobius deck here. There's a little bit of construction next door to me, so there's that, which is nice. So let's go through the story really quick. We're gonna speed run. Luckily, Zachary shared this in advance, so I've spent some time like looking at your website. One of the really cool things about Pitch is that you can embed Loom videos. So there was like this sales walkthrough that I watched as well. So I have a little bit more context, but we're just going to go through as if I'm seeing it for the first time. Automated clinical feedback platform. Perfect. My computer froze.
Just noticed that
okay.
Stephanie's email's there on the top left. That's an error.
Yeah, we'll put your email.
I mean, I could do sales for you. I love taking on new challenges. I hope Verena is not watching this. She says I can't take on any more projects. So.
I was about to say your whole team is watching, so.
Sorry, you guys.
So this is
surprise.
This is great. We've got the basics on the cover. We've got the follow-up information. It's really interesting. The live stream is keeping up, but like my computer is a little freezy, so hopefully we have an okay. There you go.
Oh no.
Cool. Start with the some highlights, some getting into the basics here. I could see some pitch template inspiration here, which is nice. Less than 5% of patients return for follow-up. Okay, so you've got like your problem statement, which is good. Zachary, just to confirm, this is like a sales presentation, correct?
That is correct.
And can you tell us a little bit about like the type of audience for this deck that you're going to be talking to?
Yeah, totally. So this is it's a tool that's built for doctors, for clinicians, and this first product is built specifically for radiologists. So there's going to be two types of people who will be looking at this. One is clinical radiologists who are dealing with patients, and the other is execs from radiology networks. So they're all in that space. They're all deep in this in the radiology business, and they're either going to be frontline talking to patients, or it's going to be the kind of business C-level types who are running the show.
Fantastic. Super helpful context. And if there's anything else you want to talk about Mobius for a second to introduce, feel free. I also want to make sure that you get your space too.
No, I think go right ahead and make this look beautiful. That's the best use of this time.
Okay, great. So we've got the deck. Normally I would start with like spending a week on the storyline. A week is ideal, obviously. Like some products happen sooner than that, but do the story first, align with Zachary on that. But I think it looks really good. It's solid. There's also a place where the story is going to come back in a little while, so we can get there. But what I like to do with pitch, because we're in pitch, is I like to start with one of the templates, and so we're just going to do that. We're going to pull up the gallery. This is the template gallery. You can view it also outside of a file and look at all of these in more detail. Plug is like, we made this one and it's right there at the top front, which is really nice. So there's that.
One of our first creators.
Yeah, there's a creator gallery now, which is super nice. So people in the community have contributed templates as well. And we luckily got to partner with Pitch on that. So there's that if you're looking for some of our work. You can, get some inspiration for your pitch deck. But we're doing a sales presentation. So there's two things that I'm looking for here when I'm looking at a template. One is like the style that I'm going toward. And so just to go back to the website, like you can get a feel for like Mobius's like existing branding by just like scrolling through here. We've got this like nice tealish color, indigo, and dark. We got like dark and indigo, like a sans serif typeface, like a humanist style typeface, I would call it. So that's one thing is I'm kind of looking through here is like a good starting place. Like you could very easily go and take this financial report and make it a sans serif typeface. Like not hard to change those and pitch at all. But I'm looking for inspiration when I'm doing this as well because amazing designers put all of these together. So there's no reason to start from scratch necessarily. And that's what's so nice about all these templates is like there's a lot of variety of style. The other thing I'm looking for is the content. So like here's a sales proposal template. And this is where that storytelling piece comes back. Like I'm shopping for a template, again, like how much of my work can pitch do for me, which turns out to be a lot. So instead of like starting from scratch, you have this like really high starting place. And that's one of the other reasons I really like these templates that Pitch has made, and the creators in the community. So I like this sales one. We can sort of look through here that like it's built like product problem statement, some stats. This is very similar to how we would do a pitch deck as well, as you want to start to like set up the context for anybody, all your audience. So looking at this, I think this is like a great starting place. We probably aren't going to use like the 3D models, but if you look past some of that, like the color's close, we can shift the colors over. The typeface is kind of close too. So I think this is a really good starting place. We might end up going a little bit darker with it, but I'm going to say let's start here. So I'm going to add all of these slides to my presentation. Usually I just sort of like dump a lot in and then edit. Some people have different philosophies about this. It's just like video editors. Like some people like only put stuff on the timeline that they think they're going to use. I'm one of those that just like dumps the like 3 hours of video footage and then cuts away.
Same. Wait, people in the chat, tell us, how do you start off a presentation? Do you dump everything or do you like select a couple of slides? I need like the whole deck because I'm just like, I don't know what I need to write in here.
I definitely go slide by slide when I'm doing this.
Really?
One at a time. I can't. I can't commit to the whole thing. I'm not ready for that. I just got to go one slide at a time.
Fair. That's fair.
So,
but I think like one good thing about like, sorry to interrupt,
no,
but just like I think I never realized that like in a presentation that you need a story. So shout out to Verena because I was just like throwing all this information in. And I think one good thing about like not to plug the templates at all, but love the templates, is that like there's a storyline. Plus we work with like, writers and researchers to see like what you actually need in these presentations. So I was just like, wow, because I would always stress out before making presentations. I'm like, this is hard. And then like this, I can do in 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, you need a deck? Got you.
Yeah, I like that you said that, like, you could do it in 10 minutes. It's like, you can with a lot of these templates. It really, like, takes a lot of the time out of it, which is why I'm hoping to do this in as quick as possible, which I think we can do.
I mean, do you need some sugar-free Red Bull? Because Kate's got you. Kate and John. We'll get a case over to you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So one of the things I'm going to start with is like setting those colors that are on the Mobius website. And so there is the styles part of pitch. We can see that maybe Zachary explored using a couple of the other templates already because there's several in here. I'm going to go to use the sales proposal one that we just grabbed. This is the style builder, which is like super, super nice. I'm just going to call it like Mobius sales. We'll just start there. And so we need a couple things from Zachary. Do you mind if I use the branding that's on your website right now?
Yeah, of course, man. Go for it. Please do.
So you can definitely like get this information a lot of ways, but I use a plugin called CSS Peeper that just like helps me grab some of this information. So I can see like the font is Montserrat, and I can grab this like main color. Here, I'll probably use like this one. There's 100 ways to get this information. You don't have to use a plugin to do it. You could like inspect source, but it's just like my workflow. So there are these different style colors that you can see here. Pitch like surfaces, the main ones, and then you can go and customize like per element. But I'm just going to change one of these like universal ones and see how it looks. So I'm just going to drop in this color here. And cool, we've got like the gradient background that we've set. Maybe I'll grab one of the other colors from your website as well. And maybe this like darker purple color. And see if that's like, you know, if we like the gradient look. So I'm actually going to take the darker color and pop it where the lighter color was in the gradient before. And then, Zachary, if you had like a tertiary color where this yellow is being used, what kind of color do you normally default to? I see like a little bit of green in places.
Yeah, man. But look, feel free to throw in with your designery capabilities, because you know that's usually not a decision that I make.
Okay, good. So we'll pull in the green, and then I actually might shift it a little bit, just a hair lighter, perhaps. You kind of see it's gotten a little electric, so maybe like not too much. Just somebody, I hear dripping or something on somebody's.
Zachary's doing burpees.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I'm just about to. I'm just warming up under the table.
Oh no. So I did like a thing that I do all the time is I accidentally selected the wrong color and it made everything black. So what's really cool is you can just hit cancel and then you can jump right back in and you don't have to worry about like any of the mistakes that you made, which I do all the time.
It never happened.
It's never happened for you?
Yeah. No, it's like it's never happened.
Oh, it's like it's never happened.
Yeah.
So this is like where I like to start is like at least some of the original brand. There, of course, you could start from scratch. We could like reinvent Zachary's entire branding right now. I just feel like for time's sake, we should maybe be a little bit more conservative with how much of your life that we change in this moment. But yeah, okay. So we've got some basics, and then we want to change the typeface. So right now we have Inter. Shout out Rasmus. Rasmus we worked together at Figma, and he invented Inter. It's one of his typefaces.
Nice.
And there's
shout out Rasmus.
There's Montserrat, and then you can see how it's gonna look on this darker background. I'm gonna take these headlines so you see the title, and I'm gonna bring in the letter spacing like just a little bit. So you get like a little bit tighter. It's again that like we were looking at your website and I said like a humanist font. What that just means is like it's typographers speak for something that's just like a little bit more friendly and approachable. So sometimes like reducing a little letter spacing will do that for me. So I'm just gonna hit save. And bam. Okay, we're halfway there, right? So let's just try like maybe putting your branding in here and seeing how it looks. You've got this logo here. Let me see on your website. Maybe it was a little bit lighter. Again, I'm just going to come to this like sneaky little tool that I have and steal it. So in Pitch, you can upload your images this way. I actually might not want to show my whole everything in my Google Drive. That's probably not the best. We'll just use this for now because I don't want to show my entire Google Drive. Now you've got a darker logo and we've put it on a dark color, so that probably is not ideal. We would swap it for like a lighter logo.
We can swap that out in post.
We can swap it out in post. And I'm just going to steal just the logo. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cropping out the text Mobius because we're going to use the text on the slide and make it really big. So right now it's like super illegible, but imagine that, you know, we had the white logo here, which we would swap out later. This template has like prepared for. I usually don't prefer to do that, but like Zachary, would you want the client that you're talking to or potential customer or existing customer you're talking to, that would you like to customize this for them, or are you going to have just sort of a general deck for everybody?
Look, if we do customize it, it's going to be minimal customizations. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be prepared for, name is different. There might be some pricing that's different, but the vast, 95, 99% of it's going to be consistent.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take it out for now, but we can always swap it back in. Really flexible here.
Yep, that works.
So we've got two things right here. You've got a description and a sort of tagline. I would say maybe lean toward one on this page, and then on our second page, we'll lean into the other one. So what do you think of maybe just doing the closing the loop on patient outcomes?
Yep, let's go with that.
Cool. I'm just going to copy it in. You're going to see that it changed style already because we have a different template here. I really like that about Pitch. It's like, it's a little bit more context dependent. So it's like, hey, when you paste something from another slide, you kind of want it to look like it's supposed to look on the slide. And then we have different sort of text styles here as well. So I'm going to just like play around with the ones that we sort of haven't set up yet, right? We changed the typeface, we play with the colors a little bit, but like these are wholly like from the template. I'm going to maybe play with this a little bit, like bring it down in size. And then you're actually going to see this little like notification dot on the text style saying that it's been modified. And so what's really cool about that is you can go here and you can update the style or reset it. Or you could just leave it separate, if you want to have like these little unique places of variation, like of course you can have that, but I'm going to update the style so all my headlines are that 64 point now, which I really like to be able to have consistency. And like that's sort of the design point I wanted to get across, like after we talked about storytelling, because the story is super important to the design, actually, like getting the content right first. But consistency is like the easiest thing that you can do. Like the number one hack to have like something look high quality design is just like use some consistency. And again, like I know that the point of this is not to sell Pitch, but I really just like, this is why I love Pitch. It's like, I'm going to talk about it a lot, is because it like makes it really easy to have that consistency where I can just set my styles and know that they're going to be consistent across all the slides that I use. I'm going to use maybe like a capital letter here, and then I'm going to switch this to, let's try medium, just to have a little bit of variety from the headline here. And then again, I'm going to update that style just so we have some consistency. Cool. We're going to bring in your website. That's a hyperlink. We're going to grab your website and drop it in. I'm going to use, so there's the quick menu in Pitch, the other thing that I love the most. So it's just Command K, and then you get this quick menu, and I'm just going to center this text on the page. So it's really great to be able to have those keyboard shortcuts and not have to just drag around everything all the time. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, make it a little bit easier. You do have these really nice guides that show up as well. And then, yeah, we'll just shift this around a little bit. I think that it's getting there. Maybe this is where, right now we have Stephanie's email address here, but this could be like your email address. But we could also just take that off. I think like something really simple like this is a good start.
Yeah.
The other thing is we've got this image in the background here. And so that I think is really helpful to start to set the scene. Would you say that a lot of your product like focuses on having x-rays?
100%. So our client base currently is entirely radiologists.
Perfect. So I'm going to go up to the Unsplash right here, and I'm going to type in x-ray, and we're going to see what comes up. I can see the exact photo that you used.
I was going to say, you might see a similar image.
It looks extremely painful. So I might shop around and see like what else I want to use. I think it was a really solid choice. So let's start there and see. But I don't want it obviously in the center. What I'm going to do is stick it on the right half. And again, like Pitch has the quick menu, so it was really fast to do that. And then I'm just going to left align these I'm going to left line this. I'm going to grab all of these together, and I'm going to align them to the left. And then we just want to make this a little bit narrower. So I'm going to jump in here and go maybe like 880. Maybe a little bit narrower.
Wait, I had a question about finding the images though. Do you have any tips on like what's a good image to have? Because, or just like what fits with the deck?
That is a great question. I think there's a part of it where you have to keep in mind, like, are you going to layer text on top of it?
Okay, so like white space.
Yeah, there's a compositional choice that you're making. Like, just right now, without typing anything in Unsplash, you can see like a cityscape that's got lightning, but it's dark. So you could throw some light text on that. It would be really easy. Versus like the croissants here, it's a little light, it's a little busy. I think you would have a really hard time like layering text on that without doing like an overlay, for example.
Oh, I always forget about that. And then like I always think like choosing photos is always hard. So I just go with Larry David gifs. So that's the style of my presentations.
So I realized the time. We're already a half hour in, and I'm on the cover slide still. So
sorry, I've been derailing us. I take full responsibility.
It's important to get the first one right. It sets the scene.
It does set the scene. You're right. Thank you for making me feel better about it. But yeah, maybe I should increase the pace a little bit. But really quick, just like played around with the layout, and then maybe we bring in that tertiary color, just so there's something. You might also like set this as like partial opacity. Like you could go white and then bring the opacity down a little bit. Not too far, but this like gives you a tint, like a different hue of your brand color that's in the background without having to like figure out what that color is. You don't have to set a hex code or anything. You can just like make something white or black and then bring the opacity down, and it gives you like a different shade. So I think that's fine. Let's move on. Do you have slide notes? You don't have speaker notes, so I'm actually just going to delete this just to keep the file clean. I like to, remove as I go. Like I said, I'll drop a bunch of stuff in and then take it out. But yeah, let's maybe accelerate this a little bit. So we've got your like mission statement slide. Let's poke around here. What do we've got? Huge problem statement. That's good. I like that. I did notice there were some back here with a little bit more text on them that might fit a little bit better. So like this quote template, I'm actually just going to copy and paste it. I always copy paste because like I don't know if I'm going to want that slide again. You know what I'm saying? That like default layout. So boom, we're just going to like cut this down really fast. And then we want to change the background color, right? So there's a couple things that we can do. One, we could switch this because we have the style set up. But two, we could go in and replace, like update this style that there's both the styles were added when we added the sales proposal. So you could have two, and then you can vary between dark slides and light slides. But I'm actually just going to stick with this one because I think that you have a lot of darker content for your website. So maybe like the whole thing can be that way. Actually, you know what? Why don't we... I'm going to step that back really quick. Why don't we take this white and make it your dark theme? So we're going to just jump in here. We're going to hit edit. We've got a bunch of stuff set to background table, background. So all the stuff that's white. And we've got a bunch of stuff that's black. So we want to switch these. You can do them one at a time, or what we can do here is I'm going to like make this like a really light white, but not 100% white, so that it doesn't try to merge these two. And then I'm going to make this a really dark. I'm not going to use full black because I think like using like a just off black can be really rich sometimes. And we're going to call this like always dark. Boom. And so you can see that actually like flowed through everything. We've obviously got to change the contrast a little bit on some of these numbers, but great starting place to make a light deck, a dark deck without spending a ton of time on it. We have a question in the chat. Closing the loop on patient outcomes. It could be my lack of expertise, but I have no idea what you do so far. Yeah, great question. Zachary, maybe we can like finesse the sales pitch while we're doing this. I know we're trying to cram a lot into one thing, but we've got this, and we're gonna drop it in here, and we're gonna make it smaller, obviously. Let's try the subhead. Too small. Perfect. Make it white. Bam. Okay. We did forget one thing. We've got this color. Bam. We're going to come here and we're going to go back to the style. And we're going to swap it here as well. And then we're going to go to the yellow and we're going to make this one. Okay. Now we're more in line. So Mobius is a communication platform for clinicians. We leverage automation and AI to help you improve the efficiency of your patient feedback loop. Yeah, I think to the comment, Zachary, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe your audience will know what that means. Like, I think do you have to write to your audience? Do you feel like it's meeting them where they are, or it's like maybe a little too complicated for a general audience?
It's definitely too complicated for a general audience. This is not a deck that will ever be showed to a general audience. This is clinicians, and clinicians only who'll see this. So when they see patient feedback loop, they know exactly what that is. The strap line, if you like, closing the loop on patient outcomes. Mobius is named after Mobius strip, which is the continuous loop that just keeps feeding around. And patient outcomes is the technical term for what happens when you treat a patient in the medical world. So do you get a good result, i.e. you get better, or do you get a bad result? That's called a patient outcome. So it's definitely something that's known in the industry, and these are phrases that people will recognize.
Okay. So maybe, what do you think? We should keep it? Or you want to like adjust this?
Look at that.
I'm sorry?
If you've got some suggestions,
yeah,
jump right on in.
Let's leverage the chat for that. Why doesn't somebody come up with a different tagline that is still maybe industry specific, but might be a little bit easier for all of us to understand? If someone has any suggestions, this is definitely something we would spend a lot of time on together. But we've got, let's say, 20 more minutes, so let's move past it.
Let's throw it to the community.
Yeah, and so I think this is great. We brought the brand color forward. We've got a link. I added a hyperlink to this that we'll just maybe carry on through the rest of the deck. We've got a big tagline, and then maybe we need to add an image here as well. What I would recommend is bringing in an image of your product. Sometimes this is like a separate step, but maybe like this is we start to like integrate the product. I saw some pictures here. Can I grab this one? Do you feel like this is appropriate? Can't see all the text is what I see in the chat. So is it because it's too small, Kate? Oh, it's because our faces are over it.
Yeah, should I get off of this chat? Because I really am not doing the heavy lifting, so I'll see you guys in the chat so we can, is that okay?
Yeah.
Or no, join later?
Why don't you stay though, because I don't have the setup. Your face would remove, but like mine and Zachary's wouldn't move, so it wouldn't necessarily solve our problem. But good to know for next time. We will do a better job of the positioning of where our faces sit.
Wait, I have the copy. I'm going to send it. Can I put it in the chat? Is that okay?
Yeah, drop it in the chat. Zachary, do you feel like this image is at least somewhat representative of your platform? I did pull it.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
So what I would do is maybe like, because this isn't the product slide, we don't need to show the whole product. So I might have it stick like this, where it's like joining the slide a little bit and coming from the side. So we've got our setup. 2 slides down 40 minutes later is great. I love it.
Speed round, let's get it.
So yeah, the template has what's the product name, product tagline. We've gotten kind of close, right? We've got Mobius. It says GIPT on the screenshot. So we're getting there. We're sort of integrating it. So let's set up the problem. I love this. We're going to go back to your slides. So we've got 20 to 40% of injection therapy patients report suboptimal outcomes. That's not good, right? We want to fix that. This varies from injection site to site. Okay, so you've got some extra content here. Not everybody in the chat can see this. Fair. We can move this. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch to one of the other templates that we built. So I just, we swapped, and now we've got our typeface, we've got our colors. Perfect. I'm going to drag this up. We do have this like tertiary text that I think is like nice to have in its low opacity as well. Let's introduce our like tertiary color. So great. We're using our layout. This is a layout from the Bento template. So we can actually come here and look, maybe are there other layouts? I kind of like this one. I might steal this bar that we've added, that was on the template that we added to this slide, and maybe just carry it like across. Cool. Okay, we've got a couple of places again where the style's modified, so we want to like play around and make sure that we're using, the stuff that we set out. So we switched to the headline, we switched to the body text. I like the ratios on that. And then we might pull in another image here. And then the other thing I'd want to do is just like, I like to have different formatting here where I've done like percentage to percentage and an end dash. But that's like, we can really get into the weeds about that, the formatting there. Cool. So we're just, we'll make little copy changes as we go. Normally we would make a lot, but Zachary, do you feel like this blue on black is legible? We also want to be sure that we're being like accessible at the same time.
It looks good to me.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we pull in an image here. Do you have maybe other things? I think, what do you think makes the most sense here? Injection site to site. So maybe like a patient. Maybe we can see like what kind of patient. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to see more of like something like this, like someone getting an injection, or maybe what's the clinical setting you said is radiology, so maybe not an injection.
Yeah, so the procedure technically is an injection, but it's an injection. It's like a large needle that's given under ultrasound or X-ray.
Wow.
So
terrifying.
It's super niche, man. Super niche. I doubt that it's going to come up in Unsplash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if there's a generic doctor-patient image,
maybe something more generic, maybe a little bit friendlier for now. I meant to put that here, but I accidentally just dropped it. So I'm gonna just cut this, and then I'm gonna paste it, and it's gonna paste inside the crop, which is amazing. And then I might just like adjust this a little bit so we get a little bit more of it. So we could come back to this. I think it's probably not the right image, but for now it's like, let's say good.
We could throw on some 1950s medical vibes, man. That could work.
So what do we have next? So we've got an extension of the problem statement. The other thing that I might encourage to add here is like a why now. You have the why, but like, why now does this problem need to get solved can be helpful. That really is specific feedback I have for pitch decks. That's like something a lot of pitch decks are missing, but I think it could be helpful here. Again, I feel like I'm running long on time, so maybe like also a conversation of the solution. You kind of want to talk about how you differentiate more so than everybody else. So maybe like let's jump a little bit further ahead and not do your slides linearly, if that works out with you.
Sure.
I love that you have a Loom video here. That is one of the things that is like super easy to add in Pitch, is you can just paste in a Loom link and embed it. So that's like definitely something that I would encourage, and I love that you've done it already. We can just add this slide right up with the rest of the slides. Boom. We might remove the underline from some of this, so we can take out that one. I'm going to grab the text here, and you can highlight the text and remove the underline. Yeah, that's good. Send that whole thing back, and then we can scale this down a little bit.
Hello, and welcome to the Mobius.
I don't know if everyone could hear the audio on that.
Oops. Definitely. Wait, or is it because... Wait, I heard the audio.
You heard the audio.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is again.
We will adjust it without playing it again. The Zachary Inception. And then I'm going to...
So many Zachs.
I'm going to...
There's 3 now.
Middle align this. Cool. All right. So we got that so far. I guess just because, like, I am being a little conscious of the time, we've got 15 minutes left. Like, what do people want to see that is maybe their biggest struggle? I've got a list of a couple things I want to make sure to cover, but, like, we're close. So I do want to see, like, what do other people, like, struggle with in the chat, or Zachary, you know, what was your biggest challenge starting to put this together?
Look, I think for me, the point that you hit on before around keeping it consistent, you know, I think that's been that really does make it pop. Take it from the data dump that I generally do into something that looks like a designer has looked at it.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why every slide you see in there has been made from the same template. Yeah, man, I guess making it consistent with the first couple of slides that you've built so far and making it feel like it is continuous is something I think makes a big difference.
100%. That's the, like, last point I also wanted to make is, like, the consistency is such an easy win. Why don't I try to do your product section really quick and see if we can, like, really drive that point home. And I actually might dump these slides now. There's a lot of gems in here, but we will just delete them so that we can clean up your file before I send it back to you. Will's also got a question. Any tips on making product screenshots look good with shadows and borders? That's a great question, which we will do right now. So there's a couple things you can do. Here, let's take this one. I'm just going to copy this right next to it. So I like to have my things, like, together in the slides, but I like to keep one version original for a while just in case I make mistakes. Pitch has, like, version history, which is, like, super nice, but I kind of, you know, just so that I feel like I'm not, like, railroading over my client's work already. So you have this section where it's 1 through 5, and then you've got, like, a paragraph and an image. So we're going to come over here. We've got high priority patients flagged. I might do, like, high priority patients flagged. So the tense on this for me is, like, a little difficult. Would you say that, like, it also works if I say, like, maybe flags high priority patients? Does that still work for you, Zach?
Yep, that works. Yep.
And then I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger so that we can have 2 lines, which is nice. And then just bring in some of this text. Although, would you say that you present these more or, like, share the pitch link in advance for your clients to review while reading it?
Look, it's a combination. Definitely share it. I don't know if they actually read it. So, yeah, let's go with present.
Okay, if you're going to present, I would reduce this text. You always want to think about the slides and what you're saying, how they work together and not against each other. So when you have a bunch of text on a slide and you're talking to it, the person is either going to hear what you're saying or they're going to read what's on that slide, but not both. I don't think anyone's, like, really that good at doing both, even if they say they can. There's a tension there. So you always want to, like, think about your slides as, like, they give context to what you're saying. They reinforce your point. But especially if this is, like you said, where this isn't the send ahead, this is, like, they are hearing you describe it while you're standing in front of it or Zoom next to it or in Pitch Live, that you maybe want to reduce a lot of the text and go heavier on the visual side. I think the reality of the world.
And look.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say the reality of the world is this is a deck that we use for both. We do not have a separate leaf behind, and I say we like there's a big team sitting behind me, but clearly that's not the case.
Not yet.
Soon.
Yeah, that's what
Wait till I see this deck.
Wait, but I just had a follow-up question because this is actually really helpful for me because as we all know, I like to talk a lot. And is there like a rule of how much text you should have on the slide? Because I always like, is there good balance that you can have for like, send aheads and presenting?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I don't know that I have like a simple answer, like a certain word count or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the ideal world is that you have two presentations, right? The version that's very text heavy that has all of the points on the slides, and then the version that is very visually strong and sparse on text that you present in front of. But like we've emphasized already, like the reality is usually you try to make one deck that's halfway between the two. I would say that this is probably too much, and that's just a little bit of an intuition. I don't know that I have a specific word count. The other thing that
I think sorry, man, just to jump in, I'm saying if you go back to that other slide that you had there, if I had the luxury of having two decks, I would have title only if I'm presenting, and all of that text would be gone.
Yeah.
And then copy it back in there for the leave behind.
Right. 100%.
And would you have all that text in the speaker notes, or would you just remember all of this?
I would just remember it and kind of talk to it and tailor it to the presentation.
I love your question, though. Speaker notes is like a great one. Never fill sentences in your speaker notes. That could be really helpful when you're like building your deck and thinking about what you're going to say. But the best tip I ever learned about presenter notes, like if you see this, you're either not going to read it all, or you're going to read it word for word, and it's going to sound like our system uses AI and machine learning to identify. Like it's going to sound like you're reading.
Yeah.
So
you're reading it.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's such a good point.
Is AI ML. 3 bullet points, half sentences tops. That is the tip that I think works really, really well. And it's the bullet points specifically are the things that are most important that you don't forget. Because like flags high priority patients is hopefully the most important part of the takeaway here, right? So you don't have to write that in the speaker notes because you know that already, but you want to emphasize in your speaker notes the things that would be bad if you forgot to mention, right?
Yeah, totally.
So it's like you have to remember to mention the AI. It's important for sales to talk about the like efficiency because you're pitching to a customer. A customer is a business. The business is time is money. So, that's obviously super simplistic about how the world works, but workflow efficiency, they're going to save money, right? So that's really important that you remember to mention that. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the two. And you've got, okay, don't forget to mention AI and workflow efficiency. So that when you're presenting this, and we've ideally removed a lot of the text from this slide, you're presenting to it, you've got these in the speaker notes to remind you. It's not something to read off of. Fun speaker notes tips right there.
These are important.
Super important. I do want to go back to Will's question about how to work with screens to maybe make them pop a little bit more or stand out. You can see that Zachary has already done that. This has rounded corners and a drop shadow. Great start. So a couple of those things are here. You can round the corners by percentage and pitch. I think maybe these are rounded a little much, so I might like reduce this like personally, but it is a personal preference. And you can see that it's a little closer to the rounding of this like template that's in here. I'm just going to delete that. You saw how we did on this slide, how it's like hung off the page a little bit. You really do want to emphasize like the point. You don't need like everything. I think that if we look at this, You've got procedures, but it is just like a code with the date. You've got the clinic name. You've got the branding. All of that could be cut off, right? Like, hypothetically, the important point is like showing that you have filters, that you have a lot of information. It's a list. We might want like a slightly higher resolution version, maybe ideally a longer version. Like if you had like a taller. Oh, you do have more. Okay. So we can like do that. And then I'm just going to like make it fit. I like them a little bit large on the large side, but you could give it a little bit of like breathing room. You can see that Pitch is like giving me guides to help like move this around. You can definitely like take advantage of that. I know I do. And then, while we're doing this as the first one, we've got a couple things to think about here is like how much text is going to be here we talked about. So like imagine maybe we reduce the text a little bit. For now, I'm just going to cut that one off. Obviously, you don't want to just cut off a whole point, but just reduce our text a little bit. And then we want to have a little bit of vertical spacing. And then there's two things we're going to do. One is like this is bottom aligned. So if you duplicate this slide to use it for the other ones, you've got it bottom aligned so that it pushes up instead of down when you have a longer one. And then this is top aligned. So that's all set up. We also want to add that number. So you had like 5 for this one, right? It was like the 5th. So we're going to take the 5 and we're going to maybe stylize it a little bit. Maybe make it larger. I think that maybe we could play around with like some light. Maybe that tertiary color might be nice. I think maybe that's a little too bright, so I might bring down our opacity. Looks a little muddy to me, so maybe we just switch to our white. That's kind of nice. It's because it's not the emphasis, right? The most important thing on the slide is not that this is the 5th thing. So that's why I'm bringing the opacity down a little bit. Maybe we take the font size down. I like to use like multiples of 8 just because like, I come from like the Figma world of design where like a lot of designers are using like eight systems of 8 points. But now we've got like a nice, maybe we top align it all. Figma's got Pitch has those great guides for 100 points, 100 pixels around as a margin. I really like that as a default, and so I like to lock some things to that. We've locked the top of our screenshot to that. It's just like a nice amount of like padding. And there you go. And so I would now duplicate this, and we are going to look at one of those other ones. This is great. We're just going to bring this up as well. It's the 3rd one. We're going to steal the title. Access patient data 24/7, I think is very clear. And then we'll just steal that text. Again, you might want to reduce this a little bit. Oh, well, it's about the same size, so that's good. And then the only thing that I would do is maybe alternate this a little bit. So if you imagine this is like the 4th one and not the 3rd one. We've got this image. We're going to bring it back. So maybe we flip this. So I'm just going to bring this all the way over. And then I'm going to grab these. And, oh, I used the wrong slide. Oh, do you see what I did there? It's this one. Okay, perfect.
Wait, I have a question. So what is the benefit of like switching it from left to right? Is it just like style or...
I think
because I never understood that actually.
I think it's mostly style. I think it's just so it doesn't. If you go from one to the next, it isn't super like the same. Because if they here, let me undo it so we can see. If you switch these and maybe these screenshots were both black or both like lighter, you might miss it, right? Because they're like similar. So So if you're jumping back and forth between these, you might kind of miss it. So you want the consistency is super important, but also like signaling that a change has happened on the slide can be a really good tool to help with your storytelling, especially the momentum of your storytelling. Because there's a lot of pacing when it comes to public speaking. I'm not a public speaking expert, so I don't necessarily want to be like the voice of like how you should present this. But I have enough experience to know that like you have to pace it. There has to be some like transition from one point to the next. And so having that variety of just like one side to the other can just kind of help show the like action is happening, change is happening. If maybe we're doing this slide where it's like you think of someone reading left to right, top to bottom, and like at least Western, like English speaking language is left to right. So, their eyes are going to come this way. They're going to see access patient data, and then they're maybe going to read this text, but they're probably going to look at the screenshot. So progressing to the next slide, their eyes are maybe already over here. So they got flags high priority patients, and then they come back to the screenshot. It's not all the time. Everyone sort of processes things visually a little bit differently based on who they are, but you can at least start to make some assumptions about how people like are consuming their information.
Totally.
Okay. That was a lot. With all that said, like maybe we should go do questions and wrap up just because we've been talking for over an hour and I don't want people to completely lose the theme here.
I mean, I learned so much. I could do this for another hour. Sorry, I know you guys are busy. I won't take your time. Anybody in the chat have any questions for Zach before we wrap things up? You can drop them in now. Zachary, Super Zach, what did you think about this? How did you feel? Talk to us.
Yeah, amazing. Like it seems like relatively simple changes that were being done, but you can see the difference in the quality of the slides that he's touched already. It's light years ahead and makes it look more professional. It gets the message across more effectively. It looks like a real designer has actually done some work on it. So that's amazing.
Cool. Zach, anything else on your side?
Yeah, I guess just, again, like, this isn't a pitch commercial in any way, but I do want to say, like, one of the best things about pitch is one of my favorite parts is the workflow tools. It's pretty unique to, like, any of the tools that I use. And so I could, like, mark this one as done, and then, like, I can assign a different one, I might, like, assign this to myself. So it's like, don't forget to work on this.
I do that all the time.
So I might go through this deck and like flag it and then share this back to Zachary and then we can like continue later. But yeah, that's like the only other thing I wanted to share because I really think it's one of my favorite things. But yeah, I guess I would say like join the pitch community. The link is on the pitch homepage? We'll add it to the description here as well.
pitch.com/community. See you guys there. I'll drop it in the chat.
And then if you want to work with a designer, Zacht Studio, also linked below, is our agency, and we do all sorts of presentation projects and love using pitch. So there's that plug. And then we also publish resources on presentation.design, one of my favorite domains I ever scored. We have a bunch of resources there, including I interviewed Christian, the CEO of Pitch, when it was still in beta. And that is a great interview, and you should check it out.
I love that one. I'll drop it in the link or in the chat. Or wait, I'm bad at finding things under pressure. Join the community. You'll get this link.
Join the community, and thank you for joining the live stream. This was the first one, so hopefully we do this again. Really appreciate everyone for tuning in. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you guys. Zach, have a lovely weekend.
Thanks for the work that you've done, and mate, thanks for being gentle with me on my first live stream.
You did great.
Thanks for being a champ, Zachary. Okay, bye guys. See you later.
Have a good Friday, y'all.
Bye everyone.
Bye.